My name's Adele Onyango and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to episode 282 of Legally Clueless. Thank you so much for rocking with the podcast. If you're an OG member, I've got nothing but so much love for you, growing with the space from the jump. If you're new to this podcast, welcome to the family. Here's what's coming up a little later in this episode.
They went back to the dean and said, "Oh, we've had you declared Jennifer faculty rep. There was no election. The process was rigged." The experience me and my family went through, the post-election violence. I remember we went into IDP camps, but we went into different IDP. My mom went to Lumakanda. Me and my sister were taken to Ebuye. My dad was missing for a year. Also getting a deputy. Oh my God. I'm a female. Oh my Jesus. Which man wants to deputize, quote unquote, a woman? So at first, I vied with a Luo and the opponent had vied with a Kikuyu. So at that time, the Kikuyus supported the opponent. So I had to do like a ceremony to apologize to the house. Then now they would bless you and give you the blessing of, as Kikuyus, we are going to support you.
Listen, this is such a timely story. I really can't wait for us to get to it. But first, if you're new here, step one, audio episodes go out every Monday, sometimes also on Wednesday, and very soon on Fridays too. We're hoping by the end of this month of August to have 3 podcasts out every week. Yani, we're really aiming to spoil you. You can also follow up on our 4 seasons of our video series and tour series just by going to legallycluelessafrica.com. Once you're there, you can sign up to join our newsletter gang. And of course, if you have a social media poison of your choice, ours is Instagram. You can catch us at Legally Clueless Africa. All the links to that are in the show notes. Okay, before we get to 100 African stories, Jennifer's story, I've just come back from my first intentional solo date. I mean, I have been to like dinner or like a lunch alone, but that was just out of need. I was hungry. I needed food. I was alone. I caught a bite, but this time I purposed to take myself to a show that I'd always wanted to watch. And it has been such a wonderful evening. My goodness. This is one of the first times in my life that I have really leaned into hearing my voice and doing so in solitude and celebrating that solitude is quite powerful. I, for example, have never lived alone. I lived with my mom and my sisters. My mom passed away, lived with just my sisters. Then I got married, lived with my ex-husband. And this is really the first time I am living alone, and it was scary at first, and now I absolutely love it, and just kind of like love it from a space of building what a routine for myself looks like, loving on myself even when it comes to doing the things that are uncomfortable or boring or chores, showing up for myself, being my best friend in the voice of my inner voice. Does that make sense? Like having a very sweet and soft inner voice. Yeah, not being so scared of solitude because of demons that you haven't confronted. I think, honestly, a lot of what's helped me be very comfortable in solitude has been working on my quote unquote demons, right? And so this just felt like an extension of that, of me saying, hey, there's this show I've always wanted to catch. I didn't catch it the last time it was on. Let me get some work done, then dress up cute, jump in my car and head into Nairobi for this solo date. It's just been so marvelous. And as much as I speak to you about intentionally trying to make friends, I've found that it's probably just as important for me to intentionally carve out time to enjoy my own company, spend time alone doing things for myself that are not linked to work, are just enjoyable. Hang out with me intentionally. And so in case you're battling with that, I hope when you hear this, it can give you that fuel to go on that solo date and overcome the fear of, whatever fears come with solitude, which can be quite overwhelming. I just thought I'd share that before we jump into the story. As we navigate this very hectic Kenyan revolution, but very exciting as well, because I didn't think I would be alive for this awakening. And that's why I've gone to like 7 protests so far, and I'm going for the next one this week. A part of me is just so happy that I'm alive to see it. I'm alive to see people understand the importance of great leadership and understand the power of our voice as a people. Very exciting. I'm loving that it's spilling over to various parts of Africa. Shout out Nigeria. Shout out Ghana, Uganda. Oh man, Uganda. And oh my goodness, so many other countries as well are awakening and allowing themselves to reimagine leadership and reimagine political structures. And so as we navigate this, I thought it's very important for us to listen to Jennifer's story, because maybe we need to go all the way back to campus uni, and her story follows her dream of becoming president. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
My very beautiful name is Jennifer Mbogo. I was born in Kakamega, raised in a place called Kipkaren, which is like a border of Rift Valley and Lugari. And then I grew up, I remember going to primary, I think 2 primaries, Vision and Agathe. Then by 2007, post-election violence happened and my family had to move. So my mom comes from like Rift Valley, my dad Meru. So we moved to Meru for like about a year until things, like we waited for things to come down, then we moved to Meru. Then my mom later settled in Embu. My mom is my greatest, like the most perfect jewel that I was given on this earth. She's my everything. She is a businesswoman. I promise you, if you meet that lady, you'd understand why I'm this ambitious. I think I pick a lot from her in terms of even personality. Grew up in Embu for the better part of my preteen, though we were in boarding, high school and all that. And that's how I went to also high school in Embu until now it was time to come to uni. That's when I was called to Multimedia University. So before I reported to Campo, you know how you go early so that you just learn your school, you know, what are the vibes. So I left home mapema when I knew I'm supposed to go to MMU. So I took a bus to Nairobi from Embu, told my mom, let me go see what MMU is all about. So it was around March and we were reporting in September. Tell me why I get to campus and there's like campaigns. I'm just like, what is going on here? So this friend of mine, may he rest in peace, he's called Yusuf. And he plays like a really major role in my journey in terms of leadership. So I met Yusuf at the admin with a big crowd. They are moving. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, ingia kwa, you know, like follow the people. So I'm following and don't even know, you know, I'm very new. I've not even reported to this campus. I'm already in a whole demonstration or something. So we went around and they were chanting his name. He was vying for Sec-Gen. So my day was very interesting. Then I met someone in that fracas. And I told him, Mommy, I'm new. I just came to check because I'm reporting here in like September. I wanted to know more about MMU. So he was called Baraka, and Baraka like guided me. We went to faculty, all that. And then I went home. So fast forward to September, I'm reporting back to school and my faculty is new. So we come, we go, we sign up for classes and all that. Now orientation week, the dean of faculty comes. And he says, you know, we are a new faculty, so I wanted you guys to choose a class rep because we must, you know, get our stuff together so that we are organized. And he tells us, anyone who wants to be a class rep? And then there's 3 of us, me and 2 dudes, Milton and Brighton. Those are my buddies. So tukasimama hapo mbele and we were supposed to pitch to the students so that they vote. And we all give our best. Thank God I took it away and I was elected class rep. So there was another one called faculty rep. So everyone is like, okay, class rep imeenda, sasa nani atakuwa faculty rep? Yeah, so our faculty is like School of Business. So it was School of Social Sciences. So you're going to be in charge of like a whole school. You know, like there's School of Medicine and you're in charge of that. Now in like bigger campuses like you're a governor to a campus. So we're just there. We're like, okay, now the next one is faculty rep. So we asked the dean, how about about faculty rep. He's like, no, I'm not the one who handles that. That's handled under Dean of Students. It's an elective post. So that's beyond me, but we'll align with the Dean of Students, and then we can start the process. So after the meeting was done and all that, I follow him to his office. I'm like, Dean, what is this faculty rep you're talking about? Then he's like, oh, you also want to be faculty rep? Jennifer, you want everything? I'm like, no, I just want to know what it's about. Then I walk into his office. Guess who's waiting for him? Yusuf. So Yusuf is seated there. So apparently he was the mentor to Yusuf during his politics in campus. So I'm a first year. I enter the room, the office, and the dean introduces me. He's like, Yusuf, meet Jennifer. She's just been elected class rep. Then I say hi. He doesn't remember me. I'm like, I saw you in March. You were running around with many people. And then you told me to join you. And then he says, hi, and all that. And then he's like, so the dean tells him, and she's followed me to find out she also wants to be faculty rep. And Yusuf is like, ata yo imeisha. She's already faculty rep. I declare her faculty rep. It was funny, but I was like, okay, whatever this is. So we were having student orientation from student leaders the same week. Imagine Yusuf tells me to attend, and then he introduces me as faculty rep. So there's a whole crowd. He's like, first years, you know how they TBMize you as first years. Tukisema ni demonstrations, mutoke hostels and all that. So we're there. Asema, lakini niko na kiongozi wenyu, Madam Jennifer kuja hapa. Any first year who wants to talk to all student leaders, you must go through Jennifer. And that's how I think I met everyone. Because now it wasn't just my faculty. It was the whole lot, 2017 lot, where I'm being introduced as the one who's like in charge. And I think that helped with like my campus politics, because now I was not new to people. Now I got to know many people from different faculties. I made friends. When they wanted help, all they knew was, let me tell you, I don't know, but it was just very interesting, because now everyone knew I was quote unquote in charge. They get arrested, Jennifer. So I'm always up and down sorting people, and I got to meet so many people from different faculties. And I loved it. So they went back to the dean and said, oh, we've heard you declared Jennifer faculty rep. There was no election. The process was rigged. I'm like, guys, it wasn't that serious. But the dean now went through the right process. And through the right process, I also won. Because now I'm a bit... I'm outside, people know me, people in class are excited, so they easily just voted for me. But I could also say, I think the nature, like the leadership nature, I could say it's inborn, because I've seen like my grandparents were in leadership and all that. One was a chief, and also we like to express ourselves so much in our family. You should find us in a get together. Everyone wants to be heard. People's opinions matter to, everyone is very expressive. Yeah, but apart from that also, I feel like the experience me and my family went through, the post-election violence, I had to grow up fast, because I was very young. Then I remember we went into IDP camps, but we went into different IDP. My mom went to Lumakanda. Me and my sister were taken to Ebuye. My dad was missing for a year. So just the responsibility of taking care of my sister, having to be the one who's watching her back, it really helped in nurturing my leadership. Because at a young age, I'm in charge of another baby. I don't even know where our folks are. And just coordinating, telling, because I had to align with the cops so that we find our parents. I told them I have an auntie in Webuye. For some reason, God always prepares you. Because before that, my mom was ill. I remember she was ill, and I used to run her errands. That's how I knew, auntie is here. If I need to go, I need to catch this bus. And during post-election, when they were trying to regroup people, that's how we were able to meet my mom. Because I told them, my mom has a friend. I think she went to Lumakanda and all that. And that's how we got to link up again. But I met my dad in 2009, not even 2008. I think that also shaped my leadership, kinda. Because now I've always been in, I knew I had to take care of people. If there's something, I had to defend my sister in those camps. When there's meals, I have to be the one who makes sure that we are eating and all that. So back to my campus politics, I did first year. So I went in and, now I was closer. Let me quote big boys. The president, the secgen, anyone who wants to reach them in first year have to come to me, and I have to go to them and tell them, first years want this, want that, and all that. So I got to network with people in their circle. Remember, these are like 50 years they are interacting with politicians. So Yusuf would go for a meeting in Ilya and Ananiambia, Kari, for me, that first year of ours, yeah, she must learn. So he was mentoring me, but from a distance. But unfortunately, we lost him to an accident. May his soul rest in peace. He was amazing. Let me tell you, that would be one of the leaders would all be so proud of, because he was very humble. In his home, he was so known. We actually knew come the elections, 2022, he would have probably taken an MP seat. He was really good. So, yeah, we lost him, but now he had already shown me the streets of politics, hapa na pale. I had already also made friends from his circle that were interested in knowing, like, what's your journey after? What do you plan? And some of them held my hand even to when I became the president of MMM. And I forgot to tell you the most interesting part of this journey. In first year, when we went for Christian Union service, the first time, they call first years, welcome to church. Then you introduce yourself, hapo mbele. Do you know what I said? This is the power of your tongue and manifestation. I stood, I'm like, hi, I'm Jennifer, or you can call me Madam Actually, I don't think I said I'm Jennifer, I said I'm Madam President. And it was out of, like, not fun, because now after Yusuf addressed me as the one who's in charge of first years, people used to call me, Madam President. Then I went to church and I told them, yes, I'm Madam President. And I look back, especially when I became president, I went back to church and said, hi guys, I'm Madam President. Again, just for it was such a full circle moment. But back to first year. So I went into leadership through first year, and I stayed very close to my dean of student. He's an amazing man. He's called Dr. Mawiu. I'm not sure if I should mention the name, but God bless that man. He became like a dad. Let me tell you, I stayed very close to him as a mentor first, because he kept on checking me academically. It's like leaders don't fail. So if you're doing bad in your books, you won't get to where you want. Then he was also very excited because it's a new faculty. He wanted to see it grow. And then he's just met people who are also very ambitious, because also, apart from me, I think during my term, we were like 5 guys from the same class in the same leadership. And it's a new faculty. We were less than 300. He was so proud. So he got this class that was very energetic, and he was very excited for us. And he took care of us like his kids. He wanted everyone to be in class. Those who were tripping, they're falling back, he would reach out. He's like, is there an issue? Do we need to talk to someone? How can we help them? Even the ones who, got pregnant on the way, he was very supportive. The ones who, got a little bit caught up in the drugs, he reached out. And I've seen them finish school. Some were left behind, but they never quit. I actually don't think there's if anyone didn't finish during my class, maybe it was just I don't think I remember any. If there was, most of them came back behind us. So that man is amazing. So I stayed close to Mawiu. Dr. Mawiu is my mentor. This plays a big role in who you become as a person, because you have to have that person who holds you accountable, even if it's, not, I don't know, he was just always holding everyone accountable. But because I talked to him about my interest in politics, he's like, I've done this, I can guide you. So every time I felt like I'm in leadership and I want strategies, now that if I have no access to Yusuf or Boit, I would go to him and be, hey, Doctor, this and this happened. What do you think? How do people go about it? And he really guided me through it. So come second year, he's like, don't leave you're still young, find a way. And then I went into host. I became the one in charge of accommodation, girls accommodation in second year. So when we were heading for third year, I went to Daktari. No, at that point, I was quite influential in school. First, because there's a whole class that knows me. So I was a bit influential in terms of my peers, and also just having known the ones who are ahead of me that introduced me to their classes. Yeah, so we moved to third year. So we're heading for third year. And by this time, I'm thinking, I'm big enough. Why go for sijui another Congress seat? I can do the executive seat. So I couldn't go for finance because normally it leans towards people doing in business faculty. One of my friends called Eli, who vied and became the president, who was also like in the leadership since I joined. So I saw him grow from Congress to executive. I linked up with Eli nikamwambia, I think I want to be in the executive. And I know you're going for presidency. I want to be your deputy. He's like, Jennifer, what do you have to offer? So before I went to approach him, because you see also you have to have something you're bringing to the table. It's politics. It's about numbers. It's about money, all that. Nilisimamisha delegate wangu. With my little knowledge, I had like 7 delegates that are going unopposed. So I went to him, I told him I have 7 delegates because I knew his camp was considering me, a friend of mine called Val, to be deputy. So I'm just there telling Eli, okay, me and Val can come to you and tell you what we both have to offer. Then let's talk. So I came, I'm like, I have 7 delegates ready to go. And you've not even given me a chance to speak to anyone. These ones are mine. Either way, if I support you or not, they will vote who I want. So he's like, yeah, but he's also like a friend of mine. So we talked about it. So eventually we ended up supporting Val for deputy, and I gave it my all and they won, and that was the best about it because I went into the camp. I told Elisa, okay, let's give Val, because I think she was ahead of me also in terms of class, and I had a chance to vie again. So we supported Eli and he won. Then I didn't now vie as deputy. Then come the following year, I went in now as deputy to Chief. We used to call him Chief. Oh yeah, he's a Mark, but now we also used to calling him Chief. So we vied with Chief and we gave our best, but unfortunately we lost. So by the time we lost now with Chief, the Chief one was crazy. I think we were supposed to win that one. But anyway, the delegates did that thing. But it's cool. We heal, we move on. Yeah, but that was the most intense. It was, I saw people passionately vote. Let me tell you, politics is very intense. People vote with their hearts. I saw people cry because we've lost them. I'm the one just here like, okay, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know it. Okay, it means that much, but people were very passionate about it. They believed in our leadership, and just seeing us lose, now I've experienced both loss and a win, and I'm just here wondering, hey, okay, now I'm heading for 4th year, and there's election. I cannot go for any other seat. Can only be the top seat because I've been on those, posters as Mama Yao, so there's no way I'll go by for entertainment and all that. And also just I thought this is the right time, when it feels right when you're in that space, because I was like, okay, I have experience and everyone. And then let me tell you what I loved about this is I'd never declared it. People are just saying, do you think she's going to buy? Do you think she's going to buy? That also boosted my self-esteem. I was like, so yola, nauza uoga na hata sijajaribu. So I didn't declare it. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, because you also need to prepare yourself mentally, even academically, because you're not going to spend so much time convincing people you're going to miss out on classes. And I was talking to my dean. I'm still telling him, Dean, I think I'm going to vie for presidency. And be all right, you come, let's have tea. Let's talk about it. So we talked about it. I told him there's no other seat. And then also just seeing my classmates having challenged themselves to different positions. We had Joanne, who was vying for academics. We have Elisha in entertainment. They're already taking up those spaces. I'm like, you know what? I actually can do this. I think it was just also natural for me because, I did political science. So I was like, everyone here is new. I've been in the game since 1st year. Let me show you. But I moved silently. The thing is, when you have a vision, keep it to yourself, because sometimes you need people to be neat to support you. But I wasn't as loud, I'd say, as some of my opponents. And I understand why, because it's politics. you're outside, you want to, declare you want to be the first one to declare. You want to make the loudest noise. But you also have to sit and realize this is an investment. You have to have strategies. You just can't wake up and tell people I'm vying. Tomorrow you'll have a full of 50 people in your room who wants to be delegate and they want you to sponsor their campaigns. You know what I mean? So I sat down, did my odds. I'm like, okay, let me approach a few people here and there. I went to my dean. I went to a few people who had supported us before, just to align. Also getting a deputy. Oh my God, I'm a female. Oh my Jesus. You can imagine which man wants to deputize, quote unquote, a woman. That was was it the most challenging? Let me say my deputy made it easy, and I'm so proud of Stefan. He's one of the men I respect so much, because I think I watched him go through people abusing him, degrading him, because he decided to, quote unquote, be as less. I don't know why they thought deputy is less of a position and it looks like it's feminine, but he took it up really well. Despite people calling first his background, remember he's a Luya man. Oh my God, there was a whole Luya meeting to declare that Stefan is no longer considered Luya because he's embarrassed the community. Oh my Luya people, please. Tafadhali, it's 2024. It's okay for women to lead. They lead in homes, So they really took my boy through the worst. By that man, mad respect to Stefan. I pray that everything works for him. He had such a good heart. He stood his ground. He said, I'm going to deputize her. When have you, just beating the odds and the cultural beliefs that a man can never be, quote unquote, under a woman. It's very backward, and I'm so proud of him. So we get into this journey. We're like, okay, let's now plan. So I gather my team. So before, let me tell you, politics in campus, by the way. Government needs to have a whole section of just us leaders from campus being paid by the government itself. There was a whole politics about tribal politics in campus. Now, as a victim of tribalism, 2007 happened because of tribal politics. So I'm here in campus and I'm wondering, oh my God, we are going back to it, where you have to go back. Now I understand the role tribalism plays in politics. I wish we could get past it, but maybe we should embrace it, but in a positive way. Like the way, unquote, a lot of political moments, like BBI. BBI was very inclusive, where there was 7 top seats, but for community based on maybe how numbers and all that. It helps look at tribalism in a better perspective, positively. Because every time you hear tribalism, it's in a negative way. How about we balance it out? Okay, we have 42 communities. How do we make sure everyone is represented? Because now the bad effect is people want to regroup, and then you find the ones that have more numbers, like Kikuyus can outdo. It just affects our country. How those politics play. And it was interesting to see them they've trickled down to campus politics. So I'm in campus. I had seen it where communities are backing up their person. But I'm wondering, how about if we are 2 people from the same community? Shouldn't we all just be given the same chance? It's no longer about who we are in terms of where we come from, but what we have to offer as leaders. But unfortunately, no. I had to call the Agikuyu because I come from the Kikuyu Meru. So I gather the house. I'm like, guys, I want to vie. I want your blessing. I want your forgiveness. First, because I also vied with a Luo. At first, I vied with a Luo, and the opponent had vied with a Kikuyu. So at that time, the Kikuyus supported the opponent, and me, I was the one who ran from home. So I had to do a ceremony to apologize to the house and the Gikuyu and Mombi. Then now they would bless you and give you the blessing of, as Kikuyus, we are going to support you. I feel like campus politics is just a reflection of what happens in the national politics. So I sit down, I talked to them, and it played the biggest role because I got my team from our house, their Gikuyu house. So I had Kinovia and two other friends of mine, Chalo and Kina Lawrence. We all came together. Now I've united the house of Mombi. We are Kikuyu, Meru, Embu, all of them, because now I live in Embu. My dad is from Meru. My mama is Kikuyu. I'm like, you all come together, give me a team, we work with it, because now this seat belongs to the house. So we come together, we sit down, and you know where they say Kikuyus gather? Ideas are flowing and all that. So we sat down and came up with a strategy, because this is a delegate system. The thing about a delegate system is you're talking to one person. As much as everyone would want to vote for you, their decision lies with one delegate. Remember, these delegates are also going to go vie, campaign, and all that. So you have to make sure your delegate wins. And then now you also have to convince your delegate to vote for you, because it's not certain. When they won, they'll vote for you. Unaweza oshwa, you know. So we gather ourselves. We also organize a few people from the house, because there is this belief they'll be loyal to the cause. And I'll tell you how it played how this tribalism worked finally at the end. Tribalism is a bit to the edge, but how this in-house Kikuyu politics really helped. So we pick out delegates in our house and we tell them to vie, and then we'll sponsor their campaigns. So you owe us one. First, we facilitated your campaign. You're part of the house. In this seat, we're trying to bring it home. And also there was other seats because finance was from our house. We had also Mama Masomo from our house. So we wanted to have as many delegates so that the house gets more numbers. And then now picking your deputy is now you align. So when I picked Sifan, if they supported him 100, they also do the same arrangement in the house where all lawyers would vote for this seat. Or you remember, people are not supporting my lawyer, because why are you deputizing a woman? And it was a whole, and it's funny because I also had a female, one of the contestants was also a female, Nemo. And it was very interesting to see that the laws were okay with her being deputized by a certain, they didn't really come for the man and be like, oh, you're embarrassing us by deputizing a woman. So we get into the politics, and now we have to raise funds. It is chasing after politicians right, left, and center, because you have to have money for your campaigns and have money for your delegate campaign.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. I hope you enjoyed Jennifer's dream, Jennifer's story. This is just part 1. Part 2 will be out next week. And the reason we decided to split them up is so that we can really just sit with some of the things that came up in this part 1, which were quite hectic, right? So at the beginning, I was like, wow, this is wonderful for her to have mentors and to even have male mentors. Sometimes in the fight for more female representation in positions of leadership, men seem to not understand what their role is or how they can support, how can they be allies. One way is using that privilege that you have as a guy to mentor a woman, to open doors for her, doors that would not be open for her because she's probably young, black woman. It's 3 things that are working against her in terms of how society, unfortunately, is structured. And so maybe that's how you help. Then when it got deeper into uni leadership, I was just like, what? A bit of my hopes were crushed for what I want young Kenyans to kind of bring to the table of the future of leadership in this country. I don't want us to be upholding dumb-ass stereotypes like a man can't deputize a woman. What the fuck? And bring in issues of tribalism to the point of us having an aspirant having to ask for forgiveness from a group of her tribe's mates. What in the world? You know what I mean? I feel like if we uphold those counterproductive elements of politics, in campus, we can't come out and demand anything different from national politics, right? The change has to start somewhere. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Were you involved in leadership when you were in campus? I feel like that's my only regret from my campus days. I was not involved in any leadership, anything. And seeing the person I am today and the passion points I have, especially as a Pan-African, I wish I had honed those skills in campus. And it wasn't that I was busy doing anything dumb. I mean, I got my first job before I graduated. So yeah, I was actually quite busy, but that's my only regret. I wish I had started learning the ropes of public office, in quotes, from when I was in campus. Anyway, what about you? Were you involved in leadership? I would really love to know. You can drop a comment on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And yeah, we'll check it out. I wanted to spotlight one person who dropped a comment on our new podcast called The Midweek Tease that goes out on Wednesdays. Shout out to Jose, who said, in our last episode where I was sharing how you can build personal values, he was like, man, this had me listing all my core values. Just to list a few: justice, gratitude, respect, and kindness. Hey, Jose, you and I were on the same page when it comes to kindness. Definitely one of my top 3 personal values. Okay, do remember that you too can be on this podcast. If you want to share your story, if you're African, you have a story, want to hear it, fill out our storyteller form. A link to that is in the show notes and we will get back to you. If you're in the greater East African region, you can catch us on Trace FM every Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. and 11 p.m. and every Friday at 1 p.m. I'm going to leave you with so much joy. My heart is so full. Have you ever had one of those days where you just feel, I don't know how else to say this, like so grateful to be alive? I know it sounds so like, what, Adele? Seriously, that's where I'm at. I'm so grateful to be alive, and I'm so grateful to be doing life as me, and I'm so grateful for all the strengths I have that are affording me all the gifts I have in my current life, like where I am right now. I can't explain it. I don't know where it's come from. I just have this overwhelming sense of gratitude. And I wanted to share that with you because sometimes we forget that we do have things to be grateful for, even when it's as beautiful as, man, I'm just grateful to be alive. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.